Do you presently feel like you are not being understood or rubbing individuals the wrong way? Or ultimately, not being able to tolerate all of these polite phrases, not being able to bear it anymore when your counterpart is simply constantly complaining and you've reached your limit? Do you have a sense of perceiving things with greater clarity than before, and perhaps even with a heightened level of clarity compared to others around you? Then this podcast episode is perfect for you, because we can sense now that something inside us is truly shifting in a significant manner. And particularly individuals who are involved in spirituality, individuals who may also be coaches, mentors, spiritual advisors, individuals who are in the process of ascension and truly feel for some weeks, months, or years that they are in the process of ascension, are currently experiencing an increasingly profound realization that their inner senses are unlocking, that their spiritual abilities are unlocking and becoming more accessible. One can truly say these are capabilities that lean towards the fifth dimension, where we can simply delve deeper into things with our perception and gain a greater understanding. For us, it feels like we have the chance to perceive things more clearly. Yes, it is not solely about always seeing through falsehoods, but rather about delving deeper than what is readily apparent. Yes, and at this moment, all of the individuals who are currently undergoing this are confronting extremely significant challenges. And they are significant because individuals who are currently at this juncture, having the capability to perceive things more distinctly, have a unique responsibility in front of them. Yes, and that's why definitely stay tuned. My name is Linda Giese. I have been a spiritual mentor for over 20 years. I am also the founder of the Being Potential Method and the author of Consciousness Next Level. So it means my daily bread is to work with people, to guide people in and through their transformation. And something has undergone a transformation at this very moment. It has become even more profound. It has become even more intense than before. It appears to be about something more, and that is clearly and distinctly visible to the naked eye. By the way, in case you're interested in the work, we organize regular live shows at no cost through Zoom. Simply check the show notes for a link. There you can find additional information and the chance to sign up at no cost. It is an enjoyable and highly educational experience, and if you are interested, we may even have the opportunity to collaborate live on this show. Therefore, please don't hesitate to bring your most challenging problem and join us. Let us take a look at this together. Okay, that is the end of it. No more to see. What is presently advancing towards individuals, who are commonly referred to in the spiritual realm as light workers or light warriors, is now coming into their awareness. Consequently, every individual who is presently involved in any form of personal development finds it exceedingly challenging to carry on with the previous routine of politeness, cliches, patience, and understanding that they were accustomed to. It is not that they no longer possess understanding and patience. These individuals are still incredibly understanding and incredibly patient in their demeanor and actions. However, when they realize that the other person is playing games with themselves, fooling themselves, caught up in their own lies, and therefore also playing with you, it may be that you simply can't tolerate it any longer and reach a breaking point where you can't take it anymore. And that is a positive thing, because you possess a highly unique responsibility, which entails having the capability to guide and influence others. In order to achieve this, it is important to understand that primarily refers to the ability to lead oneself. Yes, in order for you to be able to lead others as well. This signifies that if, for instance, you perceive that the person you are having a conversation with is resorting to playing the victim card and is capable of listing all sorts of reasons why they feel so bad and why certain things are not possible. But when it comes to making a change, they simply have no idea or little willingness to step out of their comfort zone. You can provide guidance and support in helping them overcome these obstacles and grow. No need to evaluate. We each know this from our own experiences. Sometimes we find ourselves in a phase where we can't see the bigger picture. Yes, or you know what to do, but you just can't get it done because there are so many arguments against it. This is entirely devoid of value to observe. Nevertheless, to successfully lead these individuals through this, it is imperative that you possess the necessary ability to lead yourself effectively and confidently. What is the meaning behind that? Perhaps you do not prefer to forcefully hit other people on the head using a ladle as a weapon. Yes, maybe you enjoy managing confrontations by calming them down or avoiding them completely, or taking them to the next level and involving people in that process, depending on the situation and your preferred method of dealing with conflict. You possess a strong love for harmony, peace, and respectful interaction in all aspects. Currently, you are in a position where your main duty is to communicate clearly and directly, ensuring that you get to the point. This might involve initially offending your counterpart, creating uncertainty through your statements, attitude, or unwillingness to engage in the game of victimhood. Your objective is to speak clearly and bluntly, without hesitation, in order to effectively and assertively convey your message. Yes, and having the ability to guide you, having the ability to guide yourself, implies having the ability to withstand that internally, and to have such a high level of trust in the other person, which also enables me to trust the other person, knowing that he can handle it. And of course, staying in touch, yes. That doesn't mean fleeing, not just hitting the head and leaving. Yes, that's the old world, but clearly hitting the head, let's keep it simple, and stay, yes, to serve as an offering, as a conversation partner, as a point of friction, to serve as a mirror and not to fall into the victim trap, for example. To continue to toot one's own horn, yes, not by stroking with intelligence and understanding, but first and foremost with clarity naturally, with this willingness, after this confrontation, to gladly sail everything back into calm waters. That makes sense. So in order to remain present until the other individual genuinely relaxes into the fresh understanding that is available to them, yes. And then gently guide them back into a powerful feeling for themselves, yes. And that is a very, very strong aspect right now. It seems like bombs are going off everywhere at the moment, yes. And one has the potential to be labeled as disrespectful, too harsh, too quick, as selfish, or as whatever else in this particular way or in any other similar manner. You have a unique perspective, you see through things clearly, and you are no longer willing to throw your lifetime into the shredder just so someone else can feel better about themselves. Particularly because you realize that it is a hypocritical way to feel better, because ultimately it is just an extension of one's own drama or that of the other person. Such aspects can now occur very, very massively. This can be in the employee area, for example, if you have a company or are self-employed, and that people who also work with you in your company, that you really make sure to ensure clarity. I remember a client, we worked together 14 days ago. She said, "Oh, Linda, that's so intense. For the very first time, I now possess the courage to clearly and distinctly demonstrate the way to my employee, who has been working alongside me for a significant number of years, and we have also developed a strong friendship. And I am even willing to accept that she steps down from her position." And it is very, very powerful that this clarity ultimately, so it was also a good realization for her, has significantly advanced her with her colleague, and all this beating around the bush, taking into account and pampering and powdering, ultimately delayed this process of clarity and good development for all those years. And now with a clear inner attitude, with the courage of a clear conversation, and with the willingness to accept that both go separate ways. With this willingness, it could really lead to clarity and thus also to a complete realignment for the future path. And as a coach, I regularly experience this situation anyway. Yes, we are constantly faced with the challenge of not just stroking people's heads, but actually helping and supporting them. An individual requires either pain or other strokes of fate in order to learn and gain wisdom. But when he books coaching, we usually want to prevent him from experiencing a dramatic life situation before he realizes something. And that's what occurs through coaching. And naturally, coaching can be painful. And at times, you may encounter large, uncomprehending eyes. And indeed, and as an illustration, just last week I had a coaching session with a truly wonderful participant. And this coaching was very tough, I have to say. It even hurt me personally, I have to admit. It also hurt me too to have to be so tough. And she really suffered a lot in this coaching session. And it was really difficult for me as well. And then a few days later, she contacted me and expressed her gratitude in an unbelievable manner. Yes, she also wrote a really great blog article about her healing that happened as a result. And she also received a tremendous amount of encouragement on LinkedIn. So she is truly making waves and leaving a lasting impression in the business world. And she just openly shared about her incredible transformation that has inspired many. And that has been very, very well received. And she explicitly states she has suffered from this problem for decades and has already achieved a great deal, but just couldn't make a significant breakthrough. Yeah, you know what I mean. There was a layer of resignation in her that nobody has been able to break through up to this point. And merely our collaboration during that period of time ultimately resulted in the attainment of this groundbreaking achievement, without a doubt. And she has, and I have to say this very clearly, it's also clearly her merit, because she accepted it and she went in and she went through. Yeah. The majority of people generally tend to, when things get painful or uncomfortable, they have a tendency to flee, maybe even resort to shooting the messenger or pointing fingers at them or engaging in gossip about them. In that scenario, I would have been the individual who received it, correct? However, she did not. She really went through it very clearly, taking responsibility for herself, and she really embraced it superbly. And that was just two examples, but you can also look at yourself, You can have that, you can have the same with children, yes, you can have that with family members, with friends. Over the past few days, I had a visit from a really good friend. And during the last 3 times we met, the 2 times prior to this one, I ended up getting sick. And now it has happened again this time. It seems like whenever I see him, I always end up falling ill afterwards. And then I really sat down afterwards and thought, wow, Linda, what is this? What is the reason behind it shaking you up every time you had contact? And then it dawned on me that this individual is simply existing in a completely distinct vibrational field. And when we do see each other, we don't see each other that often. She brings all the baggage from her life with her. And we require a large number of hours, numerous hours, until she is able to simply get rid of it, eliminate it, and process it, handle it. And I have a deep love for this person, yes. So they are truly a very good friend, and I really have a deep understanding for them and always have patience towards them. I always get involved in that because I really want to help, and most importantly, because this person also wants help from me, yes. However, I simply observe that it is no longer beneficial for me. Yes, I am incapable of calming myself down to this low level for an extended period of time until we have partially restored it to a level where I experience a sense of well-being once again and feel good about it. Yes, and these are indeed very bitter realizations as well. Yes, bitter realizations, because there are precisely 2 options available at this particular moment. Either I no longer meet with the person, or if that person comes, I pay very close attention to my feelings. And that will become very evident within the initial few minutes, and then I will simply bring out the hammer. Yes, it is possible for you to make a reasonable assumption about which of the 2 options I have selected. However, I am unable to decline the second one, as I feel a strong sense of obligation due to the deep-rooted nature of our long-standing friendship. No, but because for me the greatest development lies in learning to lead myself. I find that the most significant progress comes from mastering self-leadership. Yes, in order to comprehend why is it so challenging for me, what is it that I desire to avoid and steer clear of? Where do I prefer to avoid? And to really very clearly recognize where I still have my own inhibitions to stand in my clarity and to stand by myself and my needs and to stand by what I need and truly realize that when I am with myself and know what I need and what is good for me and what I can accept and what I cannot, what I can respect and what I cannot, what is good for me and what is not. If I am really clear, honest, and authentic with myself, it should also benefit the person I am interacting with. Because what is right for me must also be right for my counterpart. Yes, and if we don't wait too long until we really lose our temper, but in advance respect ourselves and our feelings and what we understand, so respect early and just go into communication openly, then the topics are not hurtful, but maybe eye-opening, not hurtful. This ensures a harmonious exchange where both parties feel valued and understood, fostering a positive and productive relationship based on mutual respect and effective communication strategies. Yes, in the event that I naturally wait until I have had enough, then I do not have control over myself, my actions, my reactions anymore. Yes, at that particular juncture. Then it's not about self-leading. Why do I want to discuss this today? Or did I want to discuss it with you? Because we frequently experience the sensation of spiritual ascension, awakening, new time, and so on. This always has something to do with light and love. That's not the case. Yes, quite the opposite. This is partly really a tough job. Let's just say it straight. A real tough job, because that clarity that has to come with it, it also affects us ourselves. So it really means to be clear within ourselves and to act clearly and truly be able to take responsibility for ourselves, but also for the time I spend with someone. Yes, not so much for the other individual, yes, but to acknowledge the amount of time I invest with someone and the subjects that become apparent there. They don't happen by chance. They don't happen without reason. They don't happen for us to bend ourselves. Yes, very important. Yes, be attentive to the signs of the time. If you spend time with someone and you observe that you don't feel comfortable, then the time you spend together is filled with that information. I don't feel comfortable or partially uncomfortable. And this certainly doesn't mean that you should bend yourself, but that you learn to stand by yourself, to lead yourself, and thereby also to lead others. And that is just, well, I would describe it as relatively new, or it is not new at all, to be more precise. It is intense, it is profound, and it is becoming increasingly weighty and significant with each passing moment. Yes, so it occurs more frequently on certain occasions as well. My goodness, yes. And simultaneously, one must also clearly express that such a significant amount of negative energy is being released in the field. Once, owing to the fact that we are undergoing a transformation and experiencing a complete separation from our previous framework, our previous behaviors, associations, and other related aspects. We are located. This resolves a lot. This also resolves traumas, or at least they want to be resolved, so they show up. And thus, simply an incredible amount of this energy is released. Yes. And what, of course, also clearly adds up, this unbelievably dense information overload of negative reports, news, plans, etc., war and yes, so all this obvious stuff that you see out there, there is a lot of intense energy in the field that wants to be transformed. And clarity is clarification, clarity is freedom, clarified energy that is devoid of confusion or ambiguity, providing a clear and unambiguous understanding of the subject matter. And that is the fundamental basis on which peace can emerge at all times. We cannot anticipate a peaceful world if we are fearful of clarity, of clarification, and if we are afraid of freedom and hesitant to fully embrace and cherish the invaluable gift it offers. Uncertainty shrouds power, lies, falsehood, and other related aspects of uncertainty. The environment serves as a breeding ground for these parasites. Indeed, the presence of freedom is of utmost importance, as reliance on others renders us vulnerable to the devastating impacts of war. By that I mean the classic war, but of course I also mean what else is war meant for me? Yes, all the exploitation. Yes, all the culture that is built upon and thrives on exploitation, deceit, fraud, and various other forms of unethical practices and misconduct. Manipulation is the main focus. Therefore, clarity and freedom are extremely, extremely essential building blocks for peace. Interestingly, in the spiritual bubble, we always thought we could breathe everything away in light and love. Breathing is still important, love is also crucial, and light is significant in any case. Clarity, however, is built upon the foundation that clarity itself is rooted in love. When I clearly communicate to someone the details of the situation, I do it out of a deep affection. Out of self-love, we do it selfishly. First, out of love for time, because I don't feel like wasting my precious life in a shredder, and also out of love for the other, because I trust he is in contact with me, because that's exactly what he needs now. Yeah, so it's possible that the episode triggers some people. It's possible that some say, yeah, finally. Definitely write it in the comments section. I will be very interested. If the video has pleased or enriched you, don't forget to like and comment, and feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. There we can connect and also engage in personal exchange. I'm really excited about it. Also in love, the most beautiful of all for you, your sister in spirit, your beloved Linda.